All right, hello. This is Talon Merlin 777. We got a ride up Route 7 in Colorado today, and this will be the first of my videos that I comment on. Nobody cares about the history of this town, but here's its downtown. Just cruising along. It's a Sunday, so it's not super busy. It's usually busier on Saturdays. I was going for lower cadence today, but obviously it doesn't look like it's very low. Well, this doesn't count. This is before the start of the climb. The segment is like 14 miles. You get to see 15 miles plus. The segment starts just before a river that you'll be able to tell is there by a bridge, and ends at peak to peak. But I like to go a little bit further than that because that's where the real top of the climb is. The only reason the segment ends there is because usually people turn left on peak to peak. Nobody really wants to go to Estes Park because there's no shoulders anywhere there. But yeah, there's the bridge. And so I take off. This definitely does not look like low cadence, but yeah, this part isn't. I limited my gears today, and I've been doing so frequently, all the time, pretty much, to third and fifth, so I can use third, fourth, and fifth on the big ring only. So right there, I was in fifth, and it was kind of a downhill and a flat to start the segment, so naturally the cadence went up a little bit. This spot I'll go into fourth gear, and by the top I'll probably be doing something like 70 RPM. But the temperature was nice today, except for on the way down. It was like, well, up there at the top it was probably like high 40s, and right here, shoot, I don't know. It's about 50 degrees, maybe 45 or something like that. Slight headwind all the way. There were like tiny spots where the wind curls around the cliff faces, around hairpins. There's not really hairpins here, but some of the tighter corners, you have a little cliff on the inside, and the wind will curl around. You'll get a little tailwind for like 20 seconds. But for the most part, it was probably like a 5-mile-an-hour headwind on average the whole way. I was going for under an hour. I did not succeed. I did 1:01:30, so a minute 30 too slow. But it still felt good. Headwind, obviously, and it's winter, so I got the full kit on, which, aside from it being a little constrictive and being heavier, it also makes your profile a little bit greater. That has to do with aerodynamics. For me, being not anywhere near a professional level, it doesn't really matter that much. Neither does the weight, especially since my bike weighs 21 pounds without bottles and 25 with bottles, 2-pound bottles. Yeah, it doesn't matter too much for me, but there are points to consider. 1 hour and 1 minute and 30 seconds is still faster than my fastest time last summer. By last summer, I mean 2024. My fastest time, and actually I think it was in September, so it wasn't even summer. It was at the end of, the good season. Where's my water? Where the heck did my water go? Okay, whatever. Yeah, the end of the season, end of the fast season, the growth season of summer last year, my fastest time was 1 hour, 1 minute, and 56 seconds. And that was with mostly a tailwind the whole way up, except for the very end, where there was like a little storm passing in front of me, so I got a little headwind. But yeah, and I felt like I was cooking back then, but here I am mid-December with a headwind all the way up, and I'm doing a better time than then, so I'm happy with it. Under an hour was just kind of a little thing to shoot for. And taking a look at my cadence again, it still doesn't seem like it's low cadence. But whatever, it feels like it to me. So clearly I tend to ride at a much higher cadence, which probably isn't very efficient, but fuck it. But it is interesting to look at my hands, my arms, their position. It looks like I'm just riding on the hoods, but I'm actually getting aero on them. My handlebars are angled downward, so it doesn't look like I'm getting too aero. And I'm not getting too aero. I could do better, but one of these flatter sections, try to get as aero as possible. Right now I'm in 5th gear, but I switched to 4th right around here. There's for the first 2 or maybe 3 miles of this climb, they're ascending rollers, and there's really only I would say 3 kickers. Got the first one way back there just after the bridge, and then you get a little flat section that we just finished, and then you got this one, probably only ascend maybe 100 feet, probably not even that. Then you got a little downhill, and then a little kicker, just a little hump, and then you get a flatter section. But yeah, this part I like to grind up at 4th gear. I say grind, but I still have a cadence of 80 right here. But I'll be right back. I got some rice cooking. Alrighty, back again. We're at the top of that second roller I mentioned. I got a little more leverage in the drops, so when the speed starts picking up, I just get in the drops, and then once the speed's 20 plus, then I'll get in the aero position and pick it up. Obviously I'm not pedaling because I've been limiting my gears. Why are you limiting your gears? Honestly, it's just because I'm lazy. I have some severe OCD when it comes to how clean my bike is and how functional it is. If I use all of my gears, I have to clean every single tooth, every single link, every single surface. But if I say, I can only use 3 gears, well, that makes it a lot easier for me. I hate cleaning my bike, but I absolutely have to. I will not go on a bike ride if my bike is already dirty. It's a crime. It feels so wrong. It's like I'm trying to destroy it. It's like not getting an oil change for 5 years. I don't know. I can't do it. And there's a benefit to having a very pretty shiny bike all the time and it being pretty efficient because everything fucking works perfectly. My wheels are super true. The logos on my tires are opposite of the valves. I use a ruler and a level and all that crap to get my handlebars even with the front wheel, so there's no discrepancy or whatever there. I fiddle with my saddle position all the time, just a tiny bit. I haven't actually been fiddling with my cleat position at all lately, though. For the last couple of years, I would just keep adjusting it, and it was probably terrible for my form, having different cleat position all the time. But whatever. So that's the main reason I've been limiting my gears, because I don't like cleaning all of them. But I have to, because I have crazy OCD with it. So if I only give myself 3 gears, it makes it a lot easier. You notice it looked like the road is a little bit wet. That's some crap that they put on the roads out here. It's better than salt. I think it's like magnesium something or other. It makes it trips me out. I do not ride my bike in the rain. I will not ride over any puddles, mud. I try to stay away from dirt, obviously, because I'm super picky about my bike. So it trips me out a little bit when I ride over this, because it looks like it's wet. And it looks like I'm going to get that crap all up in my bike, but I don't. It's dry. You notice a little bit of discoloration on the front wheel as you ride over it, but it's not wet. It's like, it's the chemicals or whatever. But, yeah, look, now it's all dry. Anyways, this is a flatter section. It's still like 2 or 3% in this area. But this is after the rollers. This is like, you got the rollers for the first 2, maybe 3 miles, and then you got probably 1.5 miles of this. I would say 2 miles of rollers, and then 1.5 miles of this. I don't know, it's just a guess of the exact length of each of these little sections. I only just noticed those dudes right when I swerved to the left, because I had my head down trying to get old arrow. I'm pushing pretty hard right here, harder than, well, I guess it turned out to be as hard as I can go for about an hour. It felt like I was going harder than I should. This first whole half of the climb, especially on the steeper section, which will come up in probably like 3 minutes or something like that. But even right here, I feel like I'm going way too hard. So when I feel like that, I tend not to go easier. I just try to, I don't know, maybe relax a little bit. But I'm not going any easier. The only time I ever go easier is when I've totally hit the wall and I've gone too hard and I actually am suffering, which I started to near the end of this effort. You can't see the top half of me, but I am wearing pink. For the pink pony, you know it. I'm always wearing pink out here. There's always some kind of pink on me. I keep it on me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of shade up the way. In winter, obviously, the sun is way off center, and you will have shade most of the way up this climb. Only near the top, when you've kind of, come out of the canyon a little bit. It's a lot more sun up there, but down here, very shaded, and also very cold when you come down. You don't notice it when you're going up, obviously, but yeah, it's pretty chilly on the way down. 50 degree highs. You generally look at the weather for my city, and if it's 50 degree highs, I would say if the high is 50 degrees or less, I'm not going up this climb, because I'll freeze to death on the way down. But if it's like 55 is kind of like, okay, if it's mid-50s, I'll do it. Unless, obviously, it's supposed to be snowing up here and stuff, because the weather's different at the bottom versus the top. A lot of the times, it'll overcast and, freeze fog up here. But down on the high plains, it'll, be sunny and 20 or 30, 40 degrees warmer. But not today. Not recently. Yeah, I got full bottles. My socks are nothing special. If there's any cyclists watching, all my gear is extremely cheap. It's all cheap. I bought this bike 10 years ago. Okay, and these wheels, these are at least 2 years old. I bought them on sale from REI for like $150. And I actually bought $500 or $600 Hunt wheels recently. I bought the aluminum rim race aero wide. A lot of fucking words for a wheel set, but they were, super thin aluminum aero spoke wheels. They had a 30 millimeter depth, and I hated them. They were definitely faster, a lot faster. I think they were like 500 grams for the wheel set, lighter than these ones, and it was definitely noticeable off and on the bike, for sure. And they were faster. I was faster on a lot of stuff. I didn't feel like it because you don't feel that kind of thing. You only notice when you look at the times. But when I would descend, honestly, whenever I would go like above 24 miles an hour, they were so twitchy, and it wasn't like, I don't know what the hell the problem was, but they were terrible. With these wheels, I can, I'll be doing 60 miles an hour down Boulder Canyon, and I can thread a needle and avoid every single pebble. But those wheels, I wouldn't dare go past 55. I hated descending on them at all. Down this canyon, they would just yank you left and right, and I don't know what, like, it was horrible. And the company said, oh, we true our wheels super well and blah, blah, blah. Because I went to go do the return thing because I was like, I'm not riding these wheels. If I'm going to descend Pikes Peak and get the KOM on that, I'm going to die. Like, this is horrible. I'd rather my $150 2,000 gram wheel set, like, with round spokes. Screw these Hunt wheels, they're terrible. So I went through the return process, and they're like, oh, what do you... I mentioned they came horribly trued. It was like somebody had thrashed them and then put them in the box and sent them to me. I had to true them myself, and I could only do so much. And, yeah, they were just terrible. And aero spokes are stupid most of your time on the bike is going to be training. So if you're going to have a wheel set like that, you shouldn't even ride them unless you're racing or you're going for a PR or a KOM or something like that. I'm kind of weird. If I have a wheel set, I don't want to have an extra, like, I don't like having a lot of shit in my possession. I like everything that I have, I use a lot. And if I don't use it, it's like hidden away so I can't see it because I don't like clutter. Anyways, so I sent them back. Those sucked. Yeah, the point is, these wheels are cheap, they're heavy, but they're convenient, and they're easy to work on. So, the wheels, cheap, bottles are just, basic Camelback, I think, Podium Chill, I think they're called. My handlebars are 32 centimeters center to center at the hoods and 34 on the drops. I just got those like a month ago or something like that, a month and a half, because I crashed on my older bars, which were 40 centimeters. So that's a pretty big difference, And it took a little bit of getting used to. It felt like I couldn't really put any power out in the beginning, out of the saddle at lower RPMs, but I'm used to it now, and there's absolutely no issue, and I love them. They're great. The dude who wrapped the bars too, because I can't do that myself. The dude who wrapped the bars did an excellent job. Almost no imperfections. They're great. And I got cheaper, smaller, probably lighter hoods. And obviously a 32 centimeter is going to be lighter than a 40 centimeter because the 40 centimeter was the same, just alloy, low quality crap. I probably bought it for like $70. It was the same for these bars. I bought them for $70 off of AliExpress or something. So I was a little bit nervous, but then I got them and I compared the thickness of the metal with my current bars or my previous bars. And they seemed fine, and they looked pretty nice. They had markings all over and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, cool. So I had them throw those on for me, and they're freaking awesome. The narrower bars, obviously they're a lot more arrow. They feel better for me. The 40 centimeters were way too wide, and I had started to notice it more and more the more I rode out here. I was like, yeah, dude, because I'm trying to get arrow on my hoods and everything, and I'm like, dude, these fucking bars are way too wide. Like, I'm trying to bend my wrist to put my arms closer to the center and shit. Because I don't like to practice puppy dog. Because not only can you put a little bit less power out because you don't have any leverage because you're just resting on the bars, but it's also UCI illegal. But so are my bars now, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but whatever. Puppy dog is kind of dangerous. I feel like that's a fair ban by the UCI, but 32 centimeter bars, banning them, that's just stupid. I mean, what about the women? The women have narrower shoulders than me, and I have narrow shoulders. So what the like, really? Like, you're gonna force them onto bars that probably feel like mountain bike bars to them? Like, it's so stupid. Maybe there's an exception for women that I don't know about, and maybe they can run narrower bars, but it doesn't look like it when I see clips of the female pros riding. They got these gigantic ass bars and it looks ridiculous, but whatever. I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to talk for an hour straight on this first commentary video of mine, but it seems like I'm not gonna have an issue. I can talk forever. Oh yeah. I think we just went past a little bit of a flatter section. I'm not sure though. I wasn't paying too much attention. I was just talking out of my ass. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just passed like a brief respite. Is that what the word is? Who knows? A brief respite? I don't know. A little break in the gradient. Right around here, it's more like 7%. And before that little break that I think we just passed, it was more like 8 and 9%. The first steep section of this climb probably goes on for about a mile, and it's around 8-9%. Then you get that little break, and then you hit this part, and this is more like 7%. And it's more straight away. Obviously, it doesn't look very straight, but you get more like straighter sections instead of it just being a bunch of curves. Like right here, you can see how it's a little bit of a straightaway, and I like those. I don't know, it just kind of feels like I don't know, the expressway or something like that. Straight roads. I like them for some reason. It's like you're on a highway, like you are the vehicle, and you're in transit. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, this section's more like 7%. It stays about 7%, probably like, I don't know, maybe half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, and and then it slowly gets a little lighter. Down to 6, 5, and then 4%. And then you hover around 3% for maybe 2 miles, but that'll come by in maybe like 8 minutes or something like that. But anyways, back to the gear. I did get new brake pads recently. When they changed the bars, they changed the brake pads for me. Complimentary. I appreciated that. They did a good job. They're well adjusted. They're on their track. The shoes are excuse me. The shoes and cleats, I got the shoes. They are the Physique Overcurve Wides. The only shoes I can really ride comfortably anymore. I got pretty a wide toe area, and these shoes are good. I tried some lake cycling shoes before, but they were super uneven. The construction was uneven. It was like they were, I don't know, they were pretty bad. I mean, they definitely were wide and they were comfortable, but no matter, I had one cleat like adjusted all the way to like the left side or like counterclockwise, and the other one the complete opposite way, and they still weren't lined up. And maybe you think that sounds like I was just being retarded and wondering why they weren't lined up and I had them the opposite. But no, believe me, they were shit. The construction was totally off. So I got rid of those and I got these. That was before I even came to Colorado, though. But anyways, Physique Overcurve Wides. I got these ones on sale. The color scheme. I guess nobody wants this one. These are more than 2 years old. These shoes. So like I'm saying, I'm budget man. This is an expensive sport, and this economy does not allow for somebody like me who has a normal job to have nice stuff. But anyways, the cleats are 0 degree float Shimano SPD. I got Shimano SPD pedals. I don't know what level. They're definitely not Ultegra or anything nice. They're old, and they're the basic level. Okay. My socks my socks are from Walmart. They're just black fucking work shitty ass socks. This particular pair is probably at least a year old. I've slowly been throwing them away because they're getting holes in them. From work, I wear the same socks on the road as I do in my fucking boots at work. These tights, the bibs, the tights, these are actually specialized SWAT tights. There's more words in the name, I don't know. But I think these are like $150. They are definitely the most expensive thing that you can see aside from the Garmin, which you can't see because it's behind my left leg. And they're pretty good. I like them. Nothing super special. They got some weird things on them. Like on the straps and stuff. They got a little pocket on the right side that I will never use. But they're comfortable. I like them. My arm warmers, I don't know, they're probably like 4 years old. They got holes in them from the crash that made me replace my bars. My jersey is a Rafa Core jersey. It's like $90, and it's pink, like I said before, for the pink pony. You already know. My helmet is probably 5 years old at this point. I think it's Specialized something or other. I got Tifosi Optic clear lens glasses on. Actually, they're in my back pocket now. When I'm going hard up a longer climb like this, I just put them in my fucking pocket because they just get sweated all over and I can't see anything. So they're sitting in my back pocket right now. My base layer. I have a base layer on. It is it's either Castelli or, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Castelli. It's Castelli Miracolo wool. It's pretty epic. And it looks fucking cool. It's long sleeve base layer, so I got those arm warmers over the base layer too. All my I got medium bibs all the time, and small small upper garments. The arm warmers are actually medium though. Since they're so old, they're stretched out. I pull them all the way up above my shoulder because they're so stretched out. I have newer ones, but I'm saving them for a trip that's coming up and next summer. But the bike itself, the company doesn't make bikes anymore that I can tell. It'd be cool if they did, but if they're making the same exact bike, they'd probably be selling it for $1,200 nowadays, and I'm not willing to spend that money on a bike if I don't need it. But that's you got to spend that money if you want any kind of decent road bike nowadays, unless it's used off the street or something. Somebody at work actually bought a Lance Armstrong type, fucking early 2000s, maybe even 90s Trek, carbon fiber, external cable routing, kind of like triple group spokes, and it looks sick. Like, I'm kind of jealous. Like, that bike is probably, I don't know, 17, 18 pounds as it is, and it's a classic, you know what I'm saying? He got it for $600, lucky steal. This bike I bought in 2015 for $360. $360 and $180 for shipping from the UK to America. Pretty good deal. I've been riding the same one for 10 years now, on and off, obviously. And a lot of parts obviously aren't original. It's pretty much the only original parts are the calipers, the frame, the rear derailleur, the front derailleur, and that's it. The fork too. I consider that part of the frame. Some people don't, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, everything else, like the cassette, the wheels, chain, obviously, cranksets, bottom bracket, brake pads, seat posts, seat handlebars, all that stuff is not original. I don't know how many wheels I've gone through over the years, but back to the route here. We're on that couple mile section of 3% after the that 7% with the straightaways I was talking about before. So we're looking at 3 to 4% on in this area. I am not getting aero right now on my hoods. I'm just on my hoods like regular. I'm not really going fast enough for that. Right around here, I'm probably doing like 14 miles an hour. 13, 14, which is not fast on a 3 or 4% grade, obviously, but I'm pretty cooked, and I've got that slight headwind. But we are on the move. I'm probably in third gear right now, although it might be fourth. Doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, the only trees you'll see at this elevation, and the elevation we're at actually is about 6,800 right here. I'll be able to tell you when we're at about 7,100. There's a little 6% section right in the middle of the climb. That's about 7,100 feet. Yeah. So, somewhere around 6,800 feet right here. It's probably more like 67. Right around here, I'm feeling okay. It's obviously a lighter gradient, so I'm not going to be feeling too shitty. I did a 57-minute run, which is 4 minutes and 30 seconds faster than this one. I did that one in June, July, August, probably September again. But I had a massive tailwind. That was, that's probably how John Keller, the main KOM guy out here, that's probably how he got his 48-minute fucking KOM on this climb. Wouldn't that be pretty epic? 48 minutes. says his average speed on that run was 18 miles an hour. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, dude. Average 18. So on the steeper sections, he was probably doing like 14. And on these sections, he was doing well over 20. Yeah, that's pretty epic. I am not a very strong rider. To give you an idea of where I stand, the best World Tour pros, they got functional threshold powers, FTPs of over 400 watts, which means they can do 400 watts for an hour. My FTP, according to my trainer as in like the little indoor thing you can put your bike on and ride indoors when the weather's horrible. I got one of those, and my best average power for an hour was only 233 watts. So it gives you an idea of how much weaker I am than the strongest dudes out there. But nobody can realistically compare themselves. Like, you can't compare yourselves to the World Tour pros. Those dudes have millions of dollars behind them, going towards their improvement and their fitness. I have $630 a week that, one check goes to rent. I got pretty cheap rent. Another check goes to food. Another check basically goes to bike parts and vehicle maintenance for my van. I don't use it a lot, but it's old, so I'm finding things I want to fix on it. Anyways, so 3 checks are out the window to, all my stuff, basically. So, but because my rent is so cheap, I get to save quite a bit of money every month, $600, on average. Assuming I'm not, buying anything, unusual. So yeah, obviously, if I'm surviving off of Walmart food and working 40 hours a week, I don't have any hope of even getting close to somebody like that. But this dude John Keller, he's the main guy out here in the Boulder area. Has a lot of the KOMs. Dude can do 400 watts for 20 minutes. So, and that's on a KOM attempt. So I would guess that his FTP is probably somewhere at least 350, So my 233 versus his 350. He's the same weight as me. He might be a little taller. He's probably a little taller. I'm heavy for my height. I'm like, on average now, I'm high 140s, like, maybe 148 on average, and I'm 5'4". He's 150 pounds, but he's probably 5'8". Who knows? There's a video out there where he goes and tackles some super steep climb behind Boulder, but yeah. So we're both about the same weight, but I'm shorter, which means either I'm fatter or I just have too much excess muscle in different parts of my body that isn't good for cycling because I work a real job, and that's just a side effect of it. I climb trees and drag brush for a living, so obviously I use some upper body that, I probably got a couple of pounds and probably a centimeter of width that I wouldn't have if I had a different job. That doesn't really make too much of a difference when your FTP is only 230. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. This being my first commentary, I hope I'm going to be able to figure out how to overlay this audio recording onto this video, and then hopefully it works, and hopefully the volume is decent. any of you guys, for whatever reason, decide to listen to me ramble about cycling crap for an hour straight and you get to this part, please let me know how the audio is, how even it is. I'm trying not to like raise my voice or lower my voice too much, because I tested the mics a little bit beforehand and they are kind of sensitive. I'm sure you've probably heard some ruckus already a few times when I've moved the laptop around. I'm sure that's a little jarring, especially if you're listening to this as like just some background noise or something like that. I love commentary videos. Oh, you know what? We're on that 6% section I was talking about before. This is like my favorite part of the climb. It's like a super steady 6%, maybe like high 5%, because sometimes the Garmin shows 5, but most of the time it's 6. But anyways, it's mostly straight. There's kind of a little bend in the very middle of it. We just passed it. But I just love those straightaway sections with super, even gradient, where I can like see the top from a ways away. Right now I'm doing like 11 miles an hour. I did about 11 miles an hour in the whole stretch there. And I always remember what speed I'm doing because I love this spot. It's my favorite spot on the whole climb. There's definitely prettier spots and stuff like that, but this is my favorite spot. Super steady gradient and a straightaway. It's great. When I did that 57-minute run, I was doing like 13 miles an hour up this part, 13, 14, with that strong tailwind. But yeah, I was doing, with a slight headwind, I was doing 11 miles an hour this time. I don't actually remember if I was getting really aero. Well, I can't play the video back because then the audio will misalign with the video, and I'm not smart enough to figure out how to super edit. I'm doing this as like a one cut thing. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if when I overlay this audio onto the video, if it's going to like double the file size. That would be pretty shitty, but I don't know a better way. I mean, what the hell am I supposed to do? Hopefully not. Hopefully audio takes up a lot less storage space or whatever as a video does. I'm sure it takes up a lot less space. Hopefully that's the case. But anyways, yeah, that the 6% section finished a little bit. There's a little bump at the very end to kind of like knock you out of your stupor in case you got your head down or whatever. And now we're back to that 3% type stuff. And it'll stay this way. The gradient will like slowly increase to like 4.5% maybe before we get a big old kicker. And then the rest of the climb is generally pretty steep. Not steeper than that first section way back there, but it's like 6-7%. Yeah, it's probably a little steeper than that. Sometimes the Garmin says 9% near the end of the climb, so we'll just say like 8%, 7-8%. But yeah, we start cooking a little bit here just because it's a flatter section. All 200 watts of me, because I guess it would be more like 230 watts. I said FTP, right? Functional threshold for an hour, 233. I definitely went pretty hard in this whole way. I probably could have done a little better on the pacing, but I think if I perfected the pacing, I probably would have been able to knock like maybe a minute off. Because I got really tired after that steep kicker that I mentioned earlier that's coming up. Right after that, I was like, oh shit, I think I went too hard. But we're not there yet. Yeah. Right here, there's usually like a blast of headwind. But today, even though generally I had a headwind the whole way up, today there was a slight tailwind right here. So, I don't know. The wind acts weird up here around these bends and shit. Imagine living right there, though. It's a interesting spot. Although I'm sure you'd hear cars, especially sports cars and shit, flying down this road or up this road all the time. I feel like living right there would be pretty shitty, right in front of the road right here. Although this road isn't as busy as some of the other ones that go up into the mountains, just because this is kind of like in between towns. So there's not a lot of like utility for this road. Most of the traffic is going up, I think it's the 34 or the 36 or something. The very beginning of the video, we took a left turn at an intersection just after the downtown in Lyons. But if you take a right, there's no shoulder for cycling. I went up that road once and I learned the hard way that it is not good for riding your bike up. It's okay going down because you're hauling ass, but yeah, that road is purely for vehicles, and that road is very busy all the time. But this road, by the end of it, you're like 15 miles off to the south when you get up there. So the closest town, which isn't really a town, it's just like a neighborhood, is Allens Park, from the top of this road here. So, and the only other one is Ward, and like I said, that's pretty much a neighborhood too. There's no there's no real business up there. There's a little convenience store and some, I don't know, probably like an antique shop or two, and then there's like a lumber yard. So yeah, this road is not busy at all, and it's a very nice road. Obviously, the pavement is really nice. You can tell by how little the camera's shaking and shit. The traffic is minimal. It's really quiet. It's a great road for training. It's pavement super smooth, quiet. Top out at 8,200 feet. It's just a great little climb. I guess I shouldn't say it's great for training in general, because if you go up, you have to go down. And going down is kind of junk miles, I hear people call it. I don't really care about junk miles, whatever. If you don't want any junk miles, go live in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like shut up about junk miles. Who cares? If you want to go up a climb, you have to go down. Unless you're a pro and you've got follow cars to pick you up at the top and drive you down to the bottom again and do it all over. Like, okay, good for you. Most people don't have that. So, I don't know what you're talking about when it comes to junk miles. Look, if you're going on a descent, you can practice getting really aero. Practice hunching your shoulders. Practice holding your head down. You can just practice that shit while you're not pedaling. You can do shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not really junk miles. You had to work your ass off to get up there, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Or whatever. Obviously, I'm a 230 watt guy, so I don't know shit. I just like riding my fucking bike. There's a nice little road, Raymond. I don't know what the road is called, but it goes to a little town, which is more like a neighborhood again, called Raymond. Off to the left there, I've only ridden on that road one time, and because I was hanging on to some dudes I ran into out the door one day, and they were pretty strong dudes. I struggled to hold on. They went really hard on that 2-mile section. That sign is correct. It said Raymond 2 miles. That's a 2-mile section right there. It's a slight incline, probably like 2-3%. This road obviously just starts climbing. This is that steep section I mentioned earlier. It's a steeple kicker, 8-9%. And then it kind of evens out to 6%, something like that, just around this left turn. And right here I started to feel it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I started to feel it right here. I got out of the saddle right here. I'm like, oh shit. Here we go. It always gets really hard right here because you kind of, I mean, it's near the end of the climb. You're at a higher elevation. You just get that steep ass kicker, and it was, I still got the slight headwind. Um, this is a nice section right here. You know what I like, the straight, even gradients. But I'm still whooped. I'm pretty fucking tired. It doesn't really look like it, because you can't really tell how badly I am suffering from this camera angle, but I am definitely hurting right now. Although I actually start hurting worse a little bit farther up the road. This is nothing compared to how much I was fucking dying in a few minutes. I was pretty tired. I definitely went a little too hard in the beginning, but I mean, whatever. I'm not getting a KOM. I'm just going for, and it wasn't even really a PR attempt. I just wanted to get a decent time today. Just have a little goal. Try to do a sub hour with this full kit on, winter kit on with a slight headwind. I said, fuck it, it's the last day of the weekend. Smash myself to bits. And hopefully get a decent time. And you know what? It's very hard to eat food. Like, hour long, I don't know, 1 hour PR attempt. Trying to go for a PR on an hour climb. It's like the Goldilocks zone for it being really hard for me to eat fucking food. Because it's long enough that you need to eat food, but it's not too long that your power is lower and you can breathe easier while you're eating your food. I don't have nice gels or anything. Like I said, I'm super fucking budget. I'm eating these, I think they're called Nature's Bakery or something like that, fig bars. They're 200 calories a pop, and they're about 70 cents each. They come in boxes of 10 for $6.72, something like that. So I just figure with taxes, it's about $7 for 10 of them, so it's 70 cents each. And that's a good deal. That's a pretty good deal. 200 calories for less than $1. I try to go for 200 calories per dollar when I buy food. And apparently that's really weird. I don't know why. I guess other people who are athletes are rich and they don't care about how many calories they're getting for each of their dollars. Or, I don't know. But I've been told that that's crazy. Oh, I can't believe you shop like that. Well, what the fuck? How else am I supposed to shop? What do you shop for? What the fuck? What do you buy when you go to Walmart? Do you try to buy I mean, okay. When I try to explain it, it does sound like pretty normie type shit. Oh, you're trying to buy stuff with the least amount of calories. Yeah, most people do that because most people don't work out or their whole life isn't active. I climb trees and drag brush for work, 10 hours, 4 days a week. And after work, I either lift some weights, all legs, obviously, or I'm doing a little spin session on the fucking turbo to keep the legs alive while I'm not doing real rides, on the work days. And then obviously on the weekend, 3-day weekend, I got a pretty nice work schedule. It's Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day. So I get a 3-day weekend every week. It's pretty epic. But don't think that everything's sunshine and rainbows, goddammit. You have to give some shit up to be able to have the relatively nice schedule that I have. But anyways, you got these people buying for the least amount of calories and shit. Hell nah, I'm out here trying to get the most calories for my fucking dollar, okay? Because I'm trying to fuel myself, you know what I'm saying? And I buy food with the least amount of ingredients. I don't want none of that riboflavin fucking enriched wheat crap. That shit is bad as hell for you. You wonder where diabetes comes from. It comes from that shit. It doesn't come from sugar. It comes from fucking fake food. That's what it comes from. It comes from all these goddamn oils that people put in their fucking food. It's disgusting. I don't listen. Oh, by the way, this is like, there's the right here, it's like 2%, 3%, a really short flat section, and then it picks up a lot around this corner. Through this corner it picks up back up to like 8%, and then it stays that way pretty much for the rest of the climb. But anyways, I was talking about oils and shit. I don't eat that crap. I look for the most calories per dollar, the least ingredients, the most natural, the simplest ingredients. And when I wash my bowl, I have a bowl, a fork, a pot, a cover for the pot, and that's it. I also have a big plastic bowl for like watermelon in the summer. So I have fucking like 3 dishes, okay? Oh, I have 4. I have a little Tupperware container for green onions when I chop them up. Okay, so I have fucking 4 pieces of dishes or whatever the fuck. I don't even have a spoon or a knife of my own, although I do use one from the kitchen. This is a rental with a bunch of rooms in it. Anyways, my food is all clean. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. When I wash my fucking dishes, I don't need to use soap. I don't even need to use a fucking brush, but I do a lot because I just don't want to. I don't know, it's just kind of gross. I don't want to be sticking my hand in there all the time. It's easier to dry my hands off with the brush, anyways. But I don't need to. I don't need to use anything. I literally just turn the fucking tap on a little bit, and my fucking food just falls off the bowl because it's real shit. It's water and real shit. It's not all this oily crap. So my food is super fucking clean. I have 0 health issues that I know of. Hopefully I don't have some shit that's gonna kill me in a couple of years. Jinx. Just kidding. But yeah, all my food is super clean. I shop for calories per dollar. And so the food that I'm eating, my little bars that I take with me on my ride, 70 cents each, 200 calories. They got about I think each one has like 40 grams of carbs or something like that. So they're not super loaded, but I mean, it's the best I can do without spending fucking $4 for a little damn tiny gel piece of shit that has less carbs. I mean, come on. A lot of this sport food is shit anyways. Like, they have these gummy cubes, and they're fucking... First of all, they're kind of huge, and you can't fit that many in your pocket, but also, they're all split up into a bunch of fucking chunks. So you manage to open this fucking package while you're riding, while you're smashing on a bike, and now you got fucking a whole bunch of little cubes that you gotta keep track of. I don't know. Whatever. I do what I do, other people do what they do. They got more money than me, fuck it. But yeah, I'm eating super cheap food. My fucking, I don't have anything special in my bottles. It's just fucking tap water. I really should, like, if I was less lazy, I mean, how can I be lazy with my lifestyle? I'm tired because of my, whatever. You know, I drink from the fucking rivers a lot. I don't fucking care. I think it's fine. If I was less lazy, I would get a bunch of those big, giant blue jug things for water, and I'd go fill them up at the fucking river, you know, and just drink that water. It'd be so much healthier than the fucking fluoride-infected shit from the tap. I don't know what the hell, whatever. Like, we treat our water, right? Like, why do we need to put chemicals in it? Oh, it's good for your teeth. Okay, so why am I drinking it? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Anyways, off to the left there, you can see a bunch of snow. It's pretty cool. It's all kind of chunky and rough because, in the middle of the day it starts to melt and then it refreezes, so it kind of becomes like this chunky, rough shit, but it's still cool. All you see up here is pines. I don't even think there's spruce trees up here. It's all just pine trees. There might actually be some spruce up here. I can't say though. I think it's just straight up pines. Oh, and aspen trees, of course. There's plenty of aspen trees up here. You can't see them because the aspens lose their leaves, so all you can see are the pine trees. But I like aspen trees. Apparently, they're like these big organisms that, if you see a whole bunch of baby aspen tree or just any aspen trees, like a bunch of them, apparently they're all fucking connected. I think that's sick. Anyways, they're pretty, so I like them. But we're nearing the end here. The gradient kind of let up just now. Next to this guardrail, picks back up 6-7%. The very last bit is like 8%. And I know that, so I'm starting to kind of give it what I got left. It's probably cooler up here, but I can't tell. It feels the same as when I left the house. In the summer, at one point, there was on a Saturday probably, I ran into the Super training guys. So in Boulder, there's a Subaru dealership that hosts a big old group ride with a whole bunch of fucking strong guys. John Keller goes there sometimes. I need to go at some point. I'll probably try next summer, spring, something like that. But these fucking guys caught up with me, and they were hauling ass, dude. They were doing like 5 miles an hour faster than I was. And I hung on to him for like the last this little section right here. There's a dude with the camera behind the end of the guardrail just then, and I was like, man, I feel so cool. But I couldn't hold that fucking pace for more than a minute, dude. They were cooking, bro. But it was pretty cool to see him. Something I've noticed is that strong cyclists in normal clothes look like exceptionally normal people. It's really weird. Like, you'd think, like, oh, they're super fit. They must look like No. They look super duper normal. It's really weird. I don't know. I have some weird geometry to me. I don't look very normal in normal clothes, but I'm also not super fit either, so, who knows, maybe if I keep this up for a couple of years and I actually get really strong, maybe I'll look like that too, but, yeah, it's really weird. Really strong cyclists look like exceptionally normal people when they wear normal clothes. It's really weird. I'm pushing pretty hard right here. We're nearing the top. You'll start to see on the horizon Meeker Peak, 13,800 something feet. Just behind it is Long's Peak at 14,255. Although I've seen some slightly different numbers for that one. But yeah, I start cooking here. I'll get in the drops real quick. Hey, as I pick up the speed, approaching 20 miles an hour. This isn't a negative gradient, but it feels like it after what you just went through. So I get into fifth, and I hit 20 miles an hour right here. I'm getting arrow on the hoods for last effort. Those are a bunch of aspen trees on the left, by the way. No leaves. They're all bunched up together. They're the same. They're the same organism. It's the same fucking tree. It's cool. I'm just fucking putting the torque down right here for last effort. And we're cresting. I kind of gave up right before the end, right before the very tippity top. My bad, but whatever, doesn't matter. There's that beautiful mountain over there, Meeker Peak. I've only climbed that mountain all the way once, but anyways, see you guys.